Welcome to Trump Breaking News Network, your daily source for up-to-date news on the political scene of Donald Trump, his presidency, American politics and conspiracies. Please subscribe to receive notice of our daily updates. Also share with your friends and your social media. We encourage you to like our videos and give your comments.
This is TBNN.
SARA Carter, FBI informant on Uranium One, breaks his silence in explosive testimony to congressional committees. William D. Campbell, the FBI informant on the Uranium One scandal, broke his silence Wednesday in an explosive testimony. Campbell gave over 4 hours of testimony and answered every question from 3 congressional committees, the Senate Judiciary, House Oversight and House Intelligence Committees, according to attorney Victoria Toensing. In the testimony, obtained by investigative reporter SARA Carter, Campbell reveals for several years he had a relationship with the CIA, which then evolved into working as an FBI informant due to close connections he developed with Kazakhstan and Russia in their nuclear energy industries. Investigate reporter SARA Carter reported. He, Campbell, gave explosive testimony on his years as an undercover informant providing information to the FBI on Russian criminal networks operating in the United States. He also contends in his testimony, and written briefs, to the FBI that Russia attempted to hide its ongoing aid to help sustain Iran's nuclear industry. At the time the Obama administration approved the sale of 20% of U.S. uranium mining rights to Russia. Senior members of the FBI, Department of Treasury, Department of Energy and Department of Justice were also briefed on Campbell's information and were apprised of the various facets pertaining to Russia's acquisition of the Canadian company. In fact, Campbell had been told by his FBI handlers that his work had made it at least twice into President Obama's classified presidential daily briefings. The Russians expressed a sense of urgency to secure new U.S. uranium business because they knew that the 2 decades-old megatons to megawatts program would cease in 2013, Campbell said. Then Russia would no longer be guaranteed a market to sell recycled nuclear warhead materials as peaceful reactor fuel in the United States. I gathered evidence for the FBI by moving closer and closer to the Russians' key nuclear industry players, including those inside the United States and high-ranking Russian officials who would visit. Despite the insurmountable evidence collected by Campbell, the Obama administration's Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States approved Russia's purchase of Uranium One in the fall of 2010. That approval by the Obama administration gave Moscow extensive rights to buy and sell more atomic fuels. I was speechless and angry in October 2010 when CFIUS approved the Uranium One sale to Rosatom. I was deeply worried that TLI continued to transport sensitive uranium despite the fact that it had been compromised by the bribery scheme, stated Campbell in his testimony to lawmakers. I expressed these concerns repeatedly to my FBI handlers. The response I got was that politics was somehow involved. I remember one response I got from an agent when I asked how it was possible CFIUS would approve the Uranium One sale when the FBI could prove Rosatom was engaged in criminal conduct. His answer: ask your politics. Campbell also said in a statement that Putin wanted to dominate the world's uranium supply. Putin wanted Russia to dominate the world's uranium supply, a goal of crucial interest to the U.S. government. At the same time, the Russian companies, Rosatom and 10X, were engaged in racketeering, his testimony stated. Also, attorney Victoria Toensing said her client William Campbell recounted numerous times the Russians bragged the Clintons' influence would push the Uranium One deal through. He recounted numerous times that the Russians bragged that the Clintons' influence in the Obama administration would ensure CFIUS approval for Uranium One. And he was right. As previously reported, not only was the FBI informant working on the Russian bribery case threatened by the Obama administration, he was blocked by the DOJ under then AG Loretta Lynch from testifying to Congress. The FBI informant started providing information in 2009. It wasn't until the 2016 presidential election that Obama's DOJ threatened him with prosecution. All Russian roads lead to Hillary Clinton. 9 shareholders in Uranium One just happened to provide more than $145 million in donations to the Clinton Foundation in the run-up to State Department approval. From an October report by John Solomon, we also found out that the investigation was supervised by then U.S. Attorney Rod Rosenstein, who is now President Trump's Deputy Attorney General, and then Assistant FBI Director Andrew McCabe, who is now the Deputy FBI Director under Trump. Rod Rosenstein is now in charge of dirty cop Mueller's witch hunt against President Trump. Unbelievable. Read Sarah Carter's full report here.
This has been the Trump Breaking News Network. Please subscribe and share to stay up to date on the latest news about our president. Be informed.